Alrighty. What do you believe to be the relationship between the mind and the body?
At this point, I don't separate them very much. I think, I guess, I think of the mind as an epiphenomenon of the brain. That it's really just what we call something that's a perception, that there's something outside of it. But from what I understand, it does come from actual synaptic reactions in the physical brain itself. I'm not convinced there's anything outside of it. But again, I say at this point, I'm quite willing to see new brain research and be convinced otherwise, but I'd be called a materialist, I guess, that the brain and the mind are really the same thing, just what we call them.
Okay. What do you believe, or do you have any specific beliefs about the nature of God and the soul? Or would you rather not talk about it?
No, I don't mind talking about it. It's almost like the brain-mind question. I don't believe there's anything outside of what we can perceive in that sense. I think God, I understand the concept of God as being kind of evolutionary biology. In other words, when you have a species that needs to guarantee somehow that it's not going to die, that there's something watching over them that will give them a better life in the next life, whatever. I can understand it. Do I accept the idea of God in reality? No, I don't see any proof for it. It depends, of course, though, on what you mean by God. And in some ways, like the Hindus and so on, see God as inherent in everything, and I can understand that. It's just a semantic problem. It's just what you call that. But as far as a Judeo-Christian or Muslim concept of God, no, absolutely not. I don't think that that's the case. Nor is there a soul separate from the body any more than the mind is separate from the brain. But I do understand the concepts of God, if you want to call it that I can at least accept as far as a natural explanation of the world, like again pantheism, where God is inherent in everything.
Okay. And the last question is basically based on your views of these sorts of things.
Based on my views of what? I'm sorry.
Your views on the nature of God, yeah, and the nature of the soul, yeah, and truth and that sorts of things. Do your views or beliefs on those sorts of things affect the way you live your life, or affect the choices you make in any way, both for good or bad, or?
Well, I think in some ways I wish I could believe in those things. I think I'd probably be a little more content about dying, but I have come to believe that humans without a belief in God can be virtuous, can make, I think, choices that benefit the human race, because again, in evolution, it's in our benefit to do that. I don't think we need something supernatural to promise us rewards, but as for emotionally, I certainly miss the idea that somehow I will have a next life and be rewarded if I'm good, but I've simply figured it out in my own life that it's best to be virtuous for its own sake. I'm stealing something from Socrates now, that it's virtue's its own reward. And so, but that comes from experience. I think a lot of times the human being is rather selfish and often violent, again, evolutionary biology. But I think in the long run, if we pay attention to things, we're going to be virtuous without God, just for the sake of existing as human beings. So that's basically where I am now.